Hello, Internet! Welcome to Good Game Nation. Today I'm here with Sam and Zach to talk about our hopes and dreams for the gameplay of the newly announced One Piece TCG. Say hi,
Yes,
boys.
yes. Hello, hello.
I'm here this time.
You are here this time.
Yes, thank you for joining us.
Next
Oh,
time
sure.
his Cam will be here too. Face reveal.
Ooh, face cams.
Hmm.
Dropping those face reveals real early in this
Just
YouTube
like
Yes, sir.
stint.
Hmm.
So, like I said, we're going to be talking about what we expect and hope and speculate the gameplay and rules could show up as for the new One Piece game.
Yep.
Do you guys have anything you want to say before we jump in?
Again, all excitement. I know a lot of us are very excited about this game, so we're just
yeah,
hoping
I'm
for the
ready.
best.
I want to start seeing reveals already.
Yeah, I'm ready for the first reveal.
Yeah,
I'm ready to see card effects. Right now we've seen all vanilla cards, so I'm excited to see card effects. Before
I'm,
we get
yeah.
into hopes and dreams, what do we know so far? Can we gleam from what little we have?
Little we
Pulling
have.
up pulling up what we have.
Yeah, literally what we
One
have.
one tweet.
One tweet. It's
So we
this.
know there's going to be a deck,
Yeah.
a discard pile.
Yep.
It is prize based, so that's interesting. It seems like more card games are prize based now than not.
especially Bandai.
Especially Bandai. I'm about to say I don't think I've played a Bandai game that doesn't have some kind of like prize.
Is Digimon prize based? I
Yep.
haven't played Digimon.
Yep.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
Yeah.
oh yeah. Digimon 5, which is similar to what we see here. So
Yeah.
keep that in mind.
They're also on turn 6, hypothetically. That's what I'm guessing this marker means. So it's possible they've taken damage before, but we're at least seeing 5. I would guess. It looks a lot like Dragon Ball to me.
It's looking very Dragon Ball with the minus of mana. Dragon Ball has like a mana pool that you add cards to, right? That's what I remember, at least from playing.
Correct, and I'm guessing at the bottom right here is our hand. The 5 cards down here. This is probably their hand. So yeah, I don't think this is a mana pool. This is like what's on board, and something is
Right.
tapped for either an effect or an attack. I'm guessing.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah, and the one thing that I think I've seen people talk about, but the Luffy card that they revealed as the leader has, I think, like a 4,000 power, and the
True.
Luffy we see here has 5,000, and it has the Doom counter on it. So I
Similar.
think some of those counters at the bottom might have to do with
Yeah.
uh, buffing your
Yeah. Something
your
like
Like
that.
a boost. My guy said plus 5K.
Maybe. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. Maybe. The leader across though is also 5K without that symbol. So I don't know if a boost is necessarily likely, but I guess we'll know more about that. Is it Dawn? Dune? Do we know? Is it
Yeah, Doom.
Dune? Okay. Something we can take away is colors. That's something Dragon
Mhm.
Ball and all Bandai games I think have had so far. We've seen red, purple. I think it's like a green so far.
Mhm.
There's one more, blue, right? These decks, I don't know if they're going to be color. You have to run one color, but so far we see just mono colors. It might be like that for the tutorial, but it looks like we have color system like most of the other games.
Yeah, and I think there's 6 slots for colors. And
Yeah,
Zach, how many colors in Dragon Ball? They added black after I stopped playing.
5, right?
Red, blue, green, yellow, black.
Yeah, 5.
Okay, so this might have more.
Yeah,
So I think there's 6 slots in the.
Digimon has 6, 7 technically.
so I would say 7. Yeah.
7 with white. Yeah.
So you have a decent variety. You'll probably get white in this one if they're using that already for Digimon
Yeah.
to kind of have a couple different flavors, which is nice. And that's what we've seen in every game is they kind of archetype a color out
Yeah.
and run through that same concept for that color for a while.
Yeah, that's something like the little background. If you've never played a Bandai game, it's not like a character is limited to one color. It's more like a playstyle. Quick example: Green in Dragon Ball very early on had to do with like hand control. Red is still does, yeah, still does. I would say blue in most games is some kind of like counter kind of thing. It really just depends on what the game wants to do and how interactive it is. But generally, a character's not like an example. Ace is a fire user. I wouldn't expect all Ace cards to be red. You know, it's going to be split up, and the card's effect is going to determine what color it is, essentially. So
mean
just keep that in
green
mind. Yeah, just depending on what it is, you know, how many Gokus have been printed in how many different colors, you know.
Whew,
Yeah, literally.
so many Gokus, fam.
One in each, right?
Yeah, something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And
Uh,
maybe
Anything else that we can glean from this one panel? We know that the leader card has some stuff. I think, Sam, can you pull up the leader card real quick? I think the Luffy leader has a thing showing like 5 life, so we might get a variety of life amounts over time.
There's flesh and blood similarities.
Yeah, I'm about to say that reminds me of Flesh and Blood a little bit, actually. Giving diverse, like more aggressive characters will have like less life, but maybe they'll do more damage or something.
And they could be lying to us right now. They could be showing all leaders
Are we
with
talking
5 life.
about this one right here? This picture right here?
Yeah. So I think that bottom right hand corner is
Yeah, this right here.
says life next to it.
Oh, that makes sense why they have 5 life. So 5 life would be the max. Okay.
Yeah, and I think like we were saying, we could have an aggressive leader, and they could be lying. They could just be showing this as a teaser,
Sure.
and then Kaido ends up with more, and Luffy ends up with a different amount, and
Sure.
like they could add that variety right away,
Yeah, sure.
or they might just have all 5 life at the beginning.
Sure, totally. They're starter deck leaders, so I would guess they're going to be stat wise, even though canonly they're not. Stat wise, they'll be exactly the same. So
Yeah,
that's something as well.
generic.
Either way, we have 4 different colors right here, which is very exciting. Even though in the example, I think this guy is purple, so I don't know. The line start part might be right, you know, a little misleading to give us more surprise when it comes out.
If you move back to the board that we have,
Oh yeah, I got you.
there's 3 copies, right? That we see.
Oh,
There's 3
that's true.
Zoro, there's 3 choppers, but
Sure.
Bandai games traditionally play off of 4.
4, yeah. 4 is usually the amount. Something that we've said a lot of, but we should talk about a little bit, I guess, is having a leader. A lot of card games typically don't have leaders. That seems to be more of a Bandai special, like Dragon Ball when it first came out, or is obviously very leader dominant. Digimon is not, but this game is going to have leaders, which is I find really cool.
Yeah, it kind of gives you a chance to play as your favorite character, and
Absolutely.
eventually they'll probably be put into a different archetype, so you get to
Absolutely.
play your favorite character in a different style if
Yeah.
the first one doesn't work for you.
Leaders make deck building easier.
It's fun. I like
Yeah.
sometimes you just want to play a leader or a character that you don't get to play a lot. It's fun to interact with that. So that's something I wanted to touch on a little bit.
It looks like it's a little bit different than Dragon Ball. We're not seeing a effect on the card right now, and we're not seeing anything to show us that they might be flipping over like in Dragon Ball Super.
Like an
You
awakened.
have the Awakened, where you get to draw cards and power up, so when you're down, you can have a little bit of a power boost to come back and not completely get stomped out. So we don't know how the leader's gonna to work yet, but we could imagine there being some type of Awakened power up mode, or
Absolutely.
they might name it something different, but a flip side of your leader card, so you have a 2-sided card.
No, that's it for what we know. I know.
Yeah, what we know,
All we
and
have is
that's
just
a little
this.
bit yeah, and that's a little bit of what we're guessing is here. From what we're guessing, what can you guys hope for in gameplay and rule sets?
A lot.
There's a lot of hope. Is that what you're saying?
A lot.
Yeah.
Because so, look, right, when you think about it, touching on it real quick, each of these cards probably has an effect except for Chopper, probably. We just don't know yet, right? Like, they won't announce or reveal any of that stuff until later, but based off other games, the early stages of this game is going to be important, right? So Bandai, both of their games are pretty successful, the 2 current ones. Dragon Ball just had a World Championships not too long ago, won by USA. USA, no, anyway.
Your point, you fool.
Dragon Ball does their opening, like their setup, where you draw your cards first, then you put out your life, right? You mulligan, whatever. Digimon, however, deck building gets a little.
More difficult.
You can't be concise because there's always going to be a percentage of your deck missing from the very beginning of the game, so it doesn't matter how well you build your deck, really.
So you're saying you place life first. You
Yeah.
place prizes first.
Yeah, so there's just 5 cards out of your deck before you draw that you just don't even have an option to draw, and I think that's terrible. But Bandai, little re-up. Bandai started Dragon Ball with a mulligan, and just introduced a mulligan into the Digimon TCG for the event they just had this past weekend and this upcoming weekend.
Right, by popular demand.
Yeah, and we're assuming we're hoping they follow suit. And this game, I would prefer if it's more along the lines of Dragon Ball, because it gives a more competitive side to it. Because Digimon still, with the mulligan and side deck, feels a little gimmicky at times.
Just from playing a little bit of Digimon too, it does feel very gimmicky, especially in comparing to early Dragon Ball, where deck building was definitely more valuable. Let's say that.
I played only in the beginning, for maybe the first few sets, and I felt like if you had something fresh that you could pull into what was available, you definitely had an advantage over people that were just playing the same few ways. If you were, just in general, if you were able to make it fresh and strong, you definitely had an advantage.
Definitely agree. Something that I like to see here is it looks like the mana pool is, I would assume, turn-based. It looks like every turn someone gets an extra mana, and then that person would play whatever. Kind of like Dragon Ball has a turn marker instead of a mana pool. That's kind of what it looks like.
Naruto was all turn-based, right?
Correct. It was turn-based as well. And you could play one troop or whatever they're going to call it this time. Probably going to call it pirates. Something that is interesting, though, is this dawn symbol. Looks like it's taking the same amount of counts. Looks like it's still 6 alongside the mana, I'm guessing. I'm not sure how that works. But I do see one attached to the leader. So I was wondering if this was like an action kind of token kind of speed. Like the leader attacks, it has to spend a dawn token to attack. I think this would help with early rush decks, especially early on in card games. They're called a lot of things. Minions. They're called what are the white soldiers, right? In Magic, white weenies.
Tokens. White weenie token decks, man.
They're little rush decks. They're always called something different in any game. Hearthstone had it. Dragon Ball had it very early on as well. Digimon definitely had a little blue weenie deck too. So this might be something to counteract that. So if you have one action on turn 1, you can only attack once, maybe. Again, me speculating. But I'm assuming this character would deal damage. That's why he's missing 2 life. That's why Chopper is turned. I'm assuming here. So that's what it looks like to me, which I find very interesting.
Ooh.
Or it could be maybe an ability thing as well, where his ability costs X amount of Dom tokens.
So and you could also see it as like a combo or
totally
a jutsu, because they had the Naruto TCG back in the day that we enjoyed also. So there's a couple different varieties that Bandai's worked with, and this is leaning somewhere, looking like it's a turn-based like action counter.
Yeah, that would be great.
Interesting. There's always ways to get around it, though, right? Naruto, you could play higher turn-based early, right?
Yeah.
There was like ways to lower cost.
It'll depend on what gets dropped into the game. Early on, probably not, but I would assume fairly quickly we'll get something that requires attention.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And then you're going to get people calling for, are we going to get a rotation? Are we going to get a ban list? Are we going to get XXX? Because let's be real, nobody wants to play the same broken thing over and over again.
If I'm winning, I do.
Well, yeah. If you're not competitive, sorry, hold on. If you're a
Zach speaking from the very competitive side, but for the community, especially the One Piece community that's going to come on early and very excited for this game, they want to have that diversity early on. They want to play the characters that they like. So And I definitely hope that's the case too, because Dragon Ball very early on was very oppressive. Like if you weren't playing one or two characters, your chances of winning were very low.
The
Um,
the or in that statement is very generous, by the way.
yeah, yeah. I'm being honest, but there's that competitive non-competitive side as well that we hope the diversity in the game is very fresh. It feels fresh. So yeah.
Is there any other aspects of other games like Magic or Yu-Gi-Oh or any other game that you've played that you want to see come over into the One Piece TCG?
Mm, It'll happen eventually, as
Yeah.
it has in every card game.
Yeah.
But being able to have interactions on your opponent's turn is what leads to the growth of games,
So a
in my
counter
in my
or a reaction?
yeah, or even so, like in Magic, right? It's spell based, because it's Magic, so you're weaving spells and things like that, right? And so you have spells you can cast only on your turn, and then you have spells that you can cast at quote unquote instant speed, which is at any point in the game during either player's turn you can cast said spell.
So counter traps in Yu-Gi-Oh or quick spells or stuff like
Counter
Magic,
that?
traps are broken
Magic,
because
same thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
counter
Nar-
traps you can't respond to these. So
Yeah,
right.
Naruto had a good one as well. I think the Naruto jutsu system was really really well done. It lasted a long time, and I think that's due to that. There was ninjas that have hand effects. There were a bunch of different counter jutsus for every style, so that was really cool. The requirements is what made those really hard to use. You had to had a certain somewhat on board to use X card. I thought that interaction was really cool. The counteract to Zach's point about games being interactive also really topes to I think of Pokemon every time someone talks about that. But Pokemon's obviously very successful. That's because of something like rotations. Rotations keeps games very fresh. You're not able to play so many cards always. There's always a limited card pool, and deck building becomes very interactive in that sense because you always have to stay on your feet. Broken cards aren't always going to be good, and good players are good in every format because they understand these mechanics. So I think there's pros and cons to these type of things. I don't. Vanguard games have never had rotation lists, so I'm not going to expect that. But they have had games like Naruto and Dragon Ball where there's interaction like that. So it's definitely a high possibility.
yeah, I should probably reiterate that as well. It is from a
Real
if you don't
competitive.
have if you
Yeah.
don't have if you have a rotation, it's safe to be on the Pokemon side of things, where you're kind
Yeah.
of more solitary, sequence based,
Mhm.
uh, things like that. But if you don't have a rotation,
Correct.
it's terrible because someone's just going to sit there for 45 minutes and then
Hmm.
it becomes, did you win the dice roll? Oh, cool.
Zach is speaking from experience here.
Yeah, I have actually sat down across my opponent. He's a very good friend
And
of
get
mine, by the
stalled
way.
out for 45 minutes?
Nah, so John Wilson, right? Is my
We
buddy.
don't need to drag people right now. We're talking
I love that guy.
speculation.
45 minutes, man. It happens.
Yeah.
And that's something games go through. I know when I was playing Yu-Gi-Oh, there were Yada loops. There was a lot of bad things, but the games grew and they go past it. So, allowing the game to
And
have those is important.
yeah, and stall decks are, I think, niche and fun, but I can't imagine them winning. Like I feel like a meta deck typically wins. You could probably look up how often that happens. But any last thoughts other than anything we've talked about before we sign off?
Just thinking non-competitively, just hope the game it has a lot of sets. That's something that Bandai hasn't struggled with. A lot of the art I think is really important as well for the game to be successful. We've seen one card so far. I think that's a one card, which is the
Yeah.
Yamato. Beautiful art. So I already think they're going down the right path. So I'm just excited.
Yeah, I'd touch on that as well. The competitive scene and stuff like that will come, but you got to grow it first. You know what I mean? Like, and the community seems pretty hyped. I'm hyped.
Right.
So I'm pretty excited. There's big things on the future. It could be really big.
Yeah. Um, I agree. I don't have much more to say other than I'm excited to see what they come up with, whatever the rule set may be. Um, I'm excited to play. So, thank you all for watching. Thanks for hanging in there till the end. Hit us up in the comment section and let us know what other aspects of games you want to see in the One Piece TCG. And like, comment, subscribe, do all the things. Follow us on Twitter and
All in the
any other
description.
plugs you guys want to do.
Everything will be in the description for us. That's
Sounds
definitely
good.
it's definitely down there.
Sounds good. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.